One introduces the format of the record. It explains how we're going to be processing through the feelings that show up in the book of Ecclesiastes and those feelings that we identify with and how they work with our faith and in Scripture. Ecclesiastes is a wisdom book in the Old Testament, and that means it's really about the practicalities of living, which might seem strange, but wisdom in the Old Testament is really about living well. Following God is living well, but that's not just about being pietistic or, in our, obvious worship, but it's also about, planting at the right time and working hard and all of these kinds of things. God is intimately involved in all of those things as we live wise lives. It's all encompassing and all connected. And so the book of Ecclesiastes is sometimes thought of as a thought experiment that the author, Kohelet, is just kind of imagining all of the things that could possibly feel bad about life to see what happens. It's like he's a philosopher. I don't particularly buy into that. I think the text would suggest that this is his lived experience and he genuinely feels the kind of despair that he talks about. And I think that means that it's also our experience, my experience, and it's yours as we read this book, as hopefully you hear these songs. It's not distant to you, but there are things that you can identify with. Even if the lyrics, I think maybe of the chorus of this are especially blasphemous, we don't want to shy away from those things, because while they're not true in an objective sense, we want to be able to express them as our feelings and really bring them into contrast with what is objectively true about God. A recurring theme of the book of Ecclesiastes is this phrase, under the sun. The search for meaning, the search for life, the search for satisfaction is bound by this limit where we're exploring everything under the sun. And that's really not about saying we're only going to look at earthly things, but it's actually about saying we're leaving no stone unturned. We're going to the end of everything that we can possibly imagine to find out what God is doing, what He is up to, and what He is like, and where there is happiness and life to be found. And so, this isn't a thought experiment, but I hope something that you can genuinely identify with and read your situation into as much as you can. It's a little bit vague in an attempt to help you do that, but I hope there's something in this song in particular that resonates with you as we frame the rest of the album. One difference between us maybe and Kohelet is that for him God is Elohim, which is God's distant kind of formal name in the Old Testament. It's his generic name. He is just God when he's referred to as Elohim. And it certainly seems in the book that he is quite distant to Kohelet and not familiar or involved or loving of his people or his creation. But to us, maybe he is Yahweh, more familiar. We know that through our relationship with Jesus and everything that Jesus has done for us. We can trust that God is actively involved. And so this song doesn't finish maybe as desperate as the book of Ecclesiastes opens, partly because I think we should remember that our Christian hope, that God is Yahweh, He is familiar, He is personal to us, and He's given us a new name, Jesus Christ, with which to, call Him and interact with Him. And so practice while you listen to this song. So practice not being afraid of your doubts, of your disillusionment, of your depression. Practice not being ashamed of those things. They're very normal, they're very common parts of human existence. Instead, clearly articulate those feelings, both so you can see them for what they are, but also start to see what you really need, which is usually just a clearer picture of God and to know that He understands.